James Charles's online influencer career might finally be over due to the ongoing allegations that have came to light. This time, it's not just about drama with other influencers. This time, it's much darker. What happens when someone who's built a massive career on their reputation gets caught up in a web of scandal and questionable decisions? James is now facing accusations that could unravel everything he's worked for. What's really going on? Let's dive in. James Charles has become one of the most polarizing figures in the beauty influencer world, but this recent scandal has pushed things to an entirely new level. It all started when rumors began swirling about his involvement with Evan Johnson, a name that might ring a bell for some. Johnson is the ex-boyfriend of Kayla Malec, a rising TikTok star with a significant following. However, what should have been a typical breakup story quickly morphed into something much more sinister. In recent months, shocking new allegations have come to light surrounding Evan. Before his relationship with Kayla ended, he was accused of being abusive, an issue that has sparked widespread concern, particularly given the nature of his involvement with high-profile influencers. James's association with Evan is where things take an even darker turn. Despite Evan's known history of domestic assault, James publicly continued to support him, even posting pictures and messages on social media that seemed to show admiration for Evan. This alone raised red flags for many, given the serious nature of the accusations against him. But the controversy didn't stop there. According to several unverified reports, James allegedly sent explicit messages and images to Evan. One of the most disturbing claims is that James sent Evan an image of himself in a compromising position, along with an inappropriate caption. These revelations raise serious questions not just about James's judgment, but about the potential implications for his career, especially considering his vast platform and the influence he holds over young, impressionable followers. For someone like James, whose brand is built on being a role model for beauty and self-expression, this scandal couldn't be more damaging. But perhaps even more puzzling is why James seemed to disregard the obvious backlash that would come with being publicly linked to someone like Evan. The question remains, what was James thinking? And why hasn't he spoken out to clarify his side of the story? One of the most perplexing aspects of this entire situation is James's radio silence. In the world of social media, where influencers are known for posting regular updates and responding to criticism in real time, James's lack of a statement or explanation about the situation feels strange and a little unsettling. His silence has left fans and critics alike wondering, why isn't James speaking up? In the past, James Charles was quick to respond to accusations, often addressing issues head-on with videos, tweets, or statements on his platforms. So the absence of any comment on these serious allegations feels deliberate. One theory is that James is hoping the scandal will blow over if he stays quiet long enough, but that seems less likely given the scale of the controversy. People are talking, and the more he remains silent, the more speculation grows. This silence has done more than just fuel gossip. It's left a vacuum for the media and fans to fill with their own interpretations. Some believe that James might be waiting for the legal process to unfold, particularly since the situation involves multiple individuals with serious legal issues. Others suspect that he may be too overwhelmed or unsure of how to address the growing number of accusations. Regardless of the reason, it's clear that his silence is only deepening the mystery and making people question his integrity. The impact of this silence isn't just emotional, it's financial as well. Brands that have worked with James in the past are starting to distance themselves. Sponsorships that he once could have relied on may now be pulled back as companies reconsider their association with him. But what's more shocking is the number of influencers who have also chosen to cut ties with James, and that leads us to the next critical point. James Charles's reputation has been one of his strongest assets. As one of the most successful beauty influencers, his image has been carefully curated over the years to reflect someone who is talented, charismatic, and, above all, trustworthy. However, with the recent allegations swirling, his reputation is in jeopardy. The fallout began almost immediately after news of his involvement with Evan Johnson broke. Many fans felt betrayed, not just because of the allegations, but because James had built his career on being a voice of empowerment and positivity. Now, his actions were calling that very image into question. Influencers who had once been close to James, such as Dallas Mendoza, were some of the first to show signs of distancing themselves. Dallas, a prominent social media personality who had been a close friend of James, unfollowed him, and this move did not go unnoticed. In the influencer community, unfollowing someone can be a powerful statement, one that suggests a change in alignment, or in some cases, an implicit acknowledgement of wrongdoing. This was just the beginning of a larger trend. As more people began to take a step back from James, the broader influencer community started to whisper about the future of his brand. Could he ever recover from this? It wasn't just about the allegations themselves, it was about how James's actions and his lack of response had placed him at odds with the very community that had supported him for years. And the pressure continued to mount as the public began to demand answers. Fans on Twitter and Instagram were vocal, calling out James for his silence and accusing him of not taking accountability for his role in the scandal. The more time passed, the more his once unshakable reputation seemed to crumble. But what happened next made everything even more complicated. While James has remained silent, Kayla Malec, the woman at the center of the scandal, has largely stayed out of the spotlight, at least for now. Kayla, who accused her ex-boyfriend Evan Johnson of domestic assault, has made it clear that she plans to address everything publicly once the legal process has taken its course. Her reticence has added another layer of complexity to the situation, leaving fans and the media to speculate about what she might say when she finally does speak out. What's fascinating is that Kayla's silence could actually be working in James's favor, at least for the moment. Without Kayla speaking directly about the situation, there's a lack of concrete evidence or statements from her that could either exonerate or condemn James. But this is a double-edged sword. The longer Kayla waits, the more people speculate about the truth. Her upcoming comments could be the bombshell that either clears James or further implicates him. If Kayla decides to speak out against James, it would be a huge blow to his already crumbling reputation. As an influencer herself, Kayla has a voice that resonates with millions of followers. Should she accuse James of anything more sinister, the fallout could be catastrophic for his career. On the other hand, if she takes a more neutral stance or offers an explanation of her own, it could offer James the lifeline he desperately needs. But whether she speaks out in his favor or against him, one thing is for certain: Kayla's upcoming statements could very well dictate the trajectory of this scandal. It's a waiting game, and right now, the clock is ticking. While the drama surrounding James and Evan continues to unfold in the public eye, behind the scenes, there's a much more serious issue at play: legal battles. Evan Johnson is facing charges for domestic assault, and those charges have only added fuel to the fire. As his legal issues progress, it's likely that more details will emerge about his relationship with James and how deeply involved James may have been in the scandal. The question everyone is asking: was James just an innocent bystander, or did he play a more active role in supporting or covering up Evan's behavior? And how much does he know about the events surrounding Evan's past? The answers to these questions may never be fully clear, but they are crucial in determining how James's career will fare in the long term. James's association with Evan, coupled with the legal troubles surrounding his former partner, puts James in a difficult position. Any involvement in this case, whether direct or indirect, could lead to legal consequences for him as well. The influencer world is already notorious for being unforgiving when it comes to scandals, and legal ramifications could make it nearly impossible for James to rebuild his brand. James has yet to comment on the legal aspects of the situation, which only adds to the confusion and speculation. The court cases involving Evan are sure to grab headlines as they unfold, and whatever role James played in this complicated story will likely come to light in due time. The fallout from the James Charles scandal isn't limited to James alone. The influencer world is closely intertwined, and as James faces increasing public scrutiny, other influencers are being dragged into the narrative. As the story gained traction, some influencers were quick to sever ties with James, perhaps in a bid to protect their own reputations. The most notable example was Dallas Mendoza, who unfollowed James. As a former friend and confidant, Dallas's decision was seen as a bold statement. Others followed suit, creating a ripple effect within the influencer community. But the question is, were these influencers genuinely concerned about the situation, or were they simply looking out for their own image in a time of crisis? For many influencers, being associated with someone embroiled in a scandal can be a dangerous, move. The public's trust can be easily shaken, and in an industry where brand deals and sponsorships are key to success, any association with someone like James could risk future opportunities. As the scandal continues to unfold, expect more influencers to weigh in and more friendships to be tested. The influencer community is watching closely, and James's ability to weather the storm will determine if he can reclaim his place in this ever-competitive space. But for now, things are looking uncertain. So, what does all of this mean for James Charles? Will he come clean and salvage his reputation? Or will this scandal be the end of his influencer career? The silence is deafening, and fans are growing impatient for answers. Kayla Malec's upcoming comments could completely change the direction of this story. What's clear is that the impact of this situation could reach far beyond just James. It might even alter the way we look at the influencer world as a whole. The question now is, how much longer can James stay silent? And what will happen when he finally speaks? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.